Hello guys, so this is gonna be a tutorial on how I make corsages and boutonnieres. My water is currently filtering right now, so that's why there's some crunchy noises in the back. The way I do it isn't like a super professional way, but the way I do it makes it very secure so you can dance with it if you want to. And yeah, so I'm gonna start off with what we need. And so at first you're gonna need all of your flowers. And so for the flowers that I usually get some sort of filler flower like a baby's breath, and then I get some sort of greens. Usually like the flowers have greens on them, but usually I don't like using the greens on the flowers because they're like grosser leaves, so I like to get a thing of eucalyptus. And then you're gonna need a big flower, so usually I get roses because that's usually what Trader Joe's has, and then I get a slightly smaller flower. And then as for the other supplies that I use ribbon for the base of the corsage. So I'm going to be using this silver one and this small white one to demonstrate. And then for a corsage, you're gonna need a corsage band. It doesn't have to be like this. Usually I like the ones that have a metal top, but I can show you how to do it with this too. And you're gonna need floral wire, and you're gonna need floral tape, as well as hot glue. An alternative to hot glue would be floral glue. So I also forgot to mention that you're gonna need scissors and nippers to cut the flowers. So I started off by separating the flowers that I wanted to use. So I got 3 big ones, and then I have 3 little ones, and then I also cut off the leaves that I want to use. So what I like to do is I like to take the flowers and I like to peel off the first outside petals, only because usually when you buy flowers at a grocery market, they go through like transit and all of that stuff, and usually it ends up with the flower petals being a little bit wrinkly on the outside because they get thrown around a little bit. So just to make the corsage look a little bit prettier, I like to peel off all the yellowing bits of the flower. Yeah, so your flowers should look a little bit smaller like this, and don't worry if your flowers aren't super bloomed. Usually as they spend time on the corsage, they're gonna end up blooming a little bit more, so it's okay if they're a little bit cylindrical. And then I'm going to cut off more of the stem. I only cut off a little bit earlier, but you're gonna wanna cut as close to the base as you can, because the reason why you wanna cut as closest to the base is because you wanna remove some of the bulkiness that's gonna be on the corsage later. So I'm gonna cut the little nub at the bottom, and then look, it's flat now. So now, since I have this flatter flower, I'm gonna snip off the screen because the screen is a little bit gross too. I'm gonna take wire, which is the most important part, and I'm going to take the wire and I'm gonna thread it through the bottom of the flower. So you see where the green is and where the white is? I'm gonna try and go in between the green and the white so that it's not piercing too much of the flower, but it's not in the green, because if it's in the green, it's probably going to rip off. See? So it came out over here, and then you're gonna fold it down, and then after you fold down the wire, you're going to twist the ends of the wire together. So usually the corsage band will have something for you to fold over, so you can fold them over the flower stems. But since this one doesn't have it, I'm gonna make my own tabs. So I'm gonna feed a floral wire in one way, and then I'm gonna feed it out back through. So it's gonna look something like this on the inside, the side that's touching your hand, and then on the outside it's gonna look like this. And the reason why you want to do this is because hot glue, when it sticks to flowers, it only sticks to the outermost edges and it doesn't stick to the whole thing. So if the petal that was glued were to rip off, then the whole flower would fall off. And so by using wire, you're actually securing the flower down instead of just securing one petal down. So I'm gonna do that for the second hole. See? Nice and easy like this. And now that I've done this, I can attach the ribbon. Usually what I do is I take the ribbon and I make a loop like this, like an open loop, see? And then I flip the ribbon over and then I do that again. I make a loop like that. I would recommend using like a thicker ribbon like this so that you can use a thinner ribbon later to add like more details and stuff like that. But this is the only silver ribbon that they had, and my friend wanted a silver corsage. So again, I'm just matching the ends together, and then I'm gonna fold it, and then I'm gonna match the ends together again, and I'm probably gonna do this 3 times. Now I'm gonna glue the ribbon that I folded earlier. This ribbon is wired, which I like because when a ribbon is wired, it'll stay in the position that you put it in and it won't like move around as much. So that's what I'm using. So I'm just gluing all the edges together so that it keeps its nice folded shape. So it should look something like this, kind of like a little flower, you know? And then I'm gonna glue this on to the band. So for this corsage specifically, I'm gonna go with an up and down kind of position. So I'm gonna position one of the ribbons here, and then I'm gonna make another one of these little folded bunches, and I'm gonna place one down here. So now that I've glued one side down, as you can see, it's glued over the wire, not under it, so that this can later secure the flowers down. I'm gonna do that and repeat it on the bottom side. So now that we've got the base all done, I'm gonna put one flower here, and then I'm gonna put another flower here, and then probably like one right here. So if I want it to sit like this, I'm gonna need to twist these 2 flowers together. So I'm gonna take the stems and then I'm going to twist them together and make sure that they're fairly close, because if they're a little bit far apart, that means you're gonna have to use a little bit more filler flowers to make it look good. So you can twist it together. You don't have to be super neat with the twisting because the twisting part won't be shown because you're gonna cover it up later. And you can see where it's like, what it's gonna look like this. This on top of this, looking cute. And then since I want this flower to be in the middle, kind of facing up like that, I'm gonna take what I already have and I'm going to twist it on top. So now that we have this, we're going to glue this on. Try not to get any of the hot glue onto the petals. The leaves are fine, but if you get it onto the petals, it'll be a little bit, there'll be like a little bit of a glue stain. We glued it on, and now this is where the wires that we used before are gonna come into play. So after we glue it on, I'm gonna take these wires and I'm gonna fold it across so that it's gonna hold the wire in place. So you're gonna fold it on top of the wire. Take the wire, we're gonna flip it over. And then we're gonna take the wire from this side and we're gonna flip it over. And then with the excess, you can choose to either tuck it in or you can cut it. For me, I think I'm gonna cut my wire. So see, the corsage is like not gonna budge. And now just to reinforce that a little bit, you're gonna put glue on the wires that you folded over. Now this is what it looks like so far. So we have the 3 flowers on top, and then on the sides it's looking a little bit gross and wiry. I'm gonna get a close-up shot so you can see what I'm doing. So here is what I'm looking at. So you can see there's the wire that's in the flowers that are acting as the stems right around here, and then there's the wire from down under wrapping over those stems, like right here and right here. And this is gonna keep the corsage super stable, and right now I'm waiting for the glue to dry, so I should not be moving it that much, but this is what it should look like so far. So now that we've got this base going on, we can do all the fun decorating stuff. So you can add your greens or your smaller flowers, and you can add your smaller flowers with just hot glue, or you can wire them and like sew them in like how I did earlier. But for me, I'm just gonna hot glue them, and this is just all up to personal preference, like whatever you want to do for your corsage and boutonniere. So this part doesn't really need a tutorial, but as you can see, hot glue does leave a stain. Like you can see where I put the hot glue through the back. So you do want to be careful with not showing those edges because they might be a little bit ugly. But you can see I put a generous amount of glue in the back because I don't want it to fall off. Okay, so this is what it's looking like now with the big flowers and the little roses. So now I'm gonna fill it in with even smaller stuff, and the reason why I go in like layers of big to small is that the big stuff usually requires more glue, and so there's more stuff to cover and stuff like that. But with the little stuff, if you go last with the little stuff, you can kind of cover up all the ugly spots. So that's what I'm gonna do. I specifically bought Unicorn's Breath, Baby's Breath, because Romaine's dress is green, so she wanted some sort of green flowers. Yeah, so I'm gonna take these. And then usually for Baby's Breath, I get a bunch like this, and then I kind of twist together the bottom, and then I glue the bottom so that they all stay together. Yeah. And then what stem that is left over under the glue, I take that off, and then I just mush the glue around. So now I'm gonna take this bunch and I'm gonna fill it in where I feel like it needs it. Like right here, I feel like it needs some flowers. So put some glue on. Take your bunch and then just fill in all those little holes that don't have a lot of stuff in it. This is what it looks like. Super cute. Okay, I'm officially done with the corsage, and this is what it looks like. Super cute. Let me get you a close-up look. There's some empty spots that I might fill in later, but I'm gonna get to work on the boutonniere now.